Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. In case you don't know where you at Hood Woods with the Thompson man. It's been a while. I've been getting to it, getting through it. Had a fucking dental infection, man. I had to get some fucking teeth pulled. Oh, what was this, Monday? Oh man. I got a whole different respect for a fucking toothache, man. I'll get these updates for you guys. It's pretty brutal, son. Pretty brutal. All right. Let me zoom out a little bit. This is Russia with her 4 babies. I apologize. I was on hydrocodone and antibiotics and shit. So, I missexed the pups. It's 3 males, 1 female. Which is pretty consistent with what Russia has been doing over the last couple of years. Very weird numbers and sexes on the pups. But I'm not tripping because if a lot of people paid attention to the earlier videos when I actually did this breeding with Russia to produce these pups, I needed a male for my daughter. So I appreciate everybody who is reaching out to me via email. I'll pin it up in here in the comments. I'm recording everybody's emails. We're good to go. But my daughter is going to get her first, she gets first pick off of this litter. Whatever she wants off of it is what's going to be kept by us. And what's left over will be allowed to go to the public for rehoming situations for the right people. Pups are very big, strong. As you can see physically how these pups are developing, they are very reminiscent of the buck structure. Buck has like that, I don't really like to say that, but he has like that bully kind of build, the big head, the big broad shoulders and all of that. He throws that in a lot of his offspring. We have sons and grandsons and granddaughters and all types of stuff from Buck. We primarily did this to replace a male that we lost in an accident, like I said before. This is going to be a real good collaboration. I never really break down my Red Boy Jocko stuff. Primarily I'm known for the Balls Bolio dogs and the Balls Bolio crosses is what I primarily do. But I started out with Red Boy Jocko dogs. So these dogs always have a place in my heart. That's why I keep them on the yard. I try to keep the numbers down to what I need to keep them going. But these dogs always have a special place in my heart because these are what I started out with. This is going to be the blend of Yellow Buck, She Heathen, Nilo, and Black Sealy. Black Sealy will be bringing the termite. The Nilo stuff will be the Cruise Rocky kind of bred stuff. And She Heathen will bring the AAA as long, I can't even talk right. I'm so doped up. As long with the Yellow Buck stuff, the AAA stuff. So it's going to be AAA Cruise Rocky termite type of blend. This blend has worked for me for years and years and years. So every dog I name brings something different to the equation. So I can't really breed too heavy on the termite stuff through Sealy. Their dogs become they become too intense. They're too much to handle. They'll become destructive, chain fighting. The Nilo and the Buck and the She Heathen brings a balance to it. So, you know, some people get pedigree crazy and love to see a lot of this and a lot of that. But unless you actually know what that shit's bringing to the table, the blends are necessary. So, these were born on Saturday. And like as you can see, they are very, very healthy built pups. It's been a while since I've been up here, but the Buck to Blackberry was a failure. We had the 2 pups. I think I did a video on it. She was stuck once, and she delivered 7 days early in the 10x10 kennel. I had to move her and the 2 pups out. It looked like it was going to be good, but then it went south. real quick. Puppies wasn't gaining weight, and then they just slowly faded. You know, we attempted to do what we can, but that was a nature call. And what I mean by nature call is Mother Nature decided they weren't healthy enough to make the cut, so they didn't make the cut. You know, God works in mysterious ways, because when I initially did these 2 breedings, I bred Berry and Russia pretty much very close together. The goal of all of this was just to get something off a buck. I clearly said it in the video. God bless me, because I got pups off a buck, and I got males off a buck. Because last time I tried this breeding with Russia and buck, it didn't take, and another time I did a breeding with Russia and buck's son Sosa, I didn't get any males. So, you know, I finally got what I needed. I was chasing this for 2 years. A lot of people who pay attention to the channel know I've been hunting this shit for 2 years, and I finally got my hands on it. So, you know, God willing, everything keeps going the way it's going, and we'll be able to do what we need to do. But this is 3 males, 1 female, and like I said, I'm still going to put that in the back burner for the Blackberry, the buck. The fact that I seen the quality of pups, before they faded, they were really, really good in solid structure. It was not a mother, but a father to daughter breeding, but I had a heavy out of my balls and bolio in there, which should have kept everything straight. I don't know if it was just a dramatic change in the weather, because this was a funky ass summer we had here. Usually the heat creeps in. It just was stone cold 100 degrees. And she gave birth, I wasn't there when she gave birth, but I'm assuming it went fine, because she delivered them and was sitting there nursing them. But I don't know if it was just the constant movement, me having to move her, because like I said, I don't like to put my females in this box too early. This is a pretty good sized box. It's 10 feet long. We keep about 3.5, 4 feet in the back, and the rest of the square footage is in the front, where they can move their bowels and where we put the food and water at. So it's not a tiny box, but I strongly believe in when you're breeding older females and muscle atrophy, and I like to have them in a space where they can move around and do what they want to do. I just don't like to breed them and slap them in the box and then risk muscle atrophy, and then they can't push the puppies out because they're trying to use muscles that haven't been used in a couple of weeks. So that's what I'm assuming happened with Blackberry. I didn't put her in the box because I wanted her to get enough exercise, but lo and behold, she dropped a week early off of 1 stick. If you do numerous sticks when you're breeding these dogs, you're going to have to calculate your due dates from the sticks. 63 days is usually the pregnancy duration. And if you do 3 sticks over the span of a week, you're going to have to do the math on, you know, what stick it took and give you a range of when the pups could possibly be due. I only stuck her once and she dropped 7 days early, and the pups didn't physically look premature, but it is what it is. I may attempt that breeding again. Like I said, yet again, it wasn't really predicated off of Blackberry. For a lot of people who are familiar with my channel know that I own a son off of Blackberry. When I purchased Blackberry back from BYK, they also gifted me a son off of her bred to their stock, which is a heavy balls Red Boy Jocko blend dog. So, you know, we have stuff off of Blackberry. This was primarily about Buck right here, because Buck is up there in age. He's another decade soldier on the yard. But we went fishing. I had to throw one back, but I caught the one that I needed to catch. I hope all is well in YouTube land. Like I said, a lot of people didn't hear my voice in a while. Just doing an update video because I've been getting a lot of emails about this breeding, and I just want people to understand. My daughter will get her pick first, and then we'll go from there with it. But until they're ready, it's gonna be slow motion with this. So, you know, please send or bang the email. It will be recorded, like I said, but I'm just letting people know now. It's not something that's gonna be like, here, this is for sale, this is for sale. You know, certain things gonna have to go in motion. I do have a proposition that I'm discussing with one of my OGs. I may use one of these pups as collateral for another strand of termite blood that I'm familiar with. Would be a belly mate to Black Sealy. You know, I tell people all the time, I got connections. Even when I take L's, I really don't take L's because I stay cool with who I came in the door with when they come into these dogs. So the people that initially brought me into these dogs, you know, me and them are cool as a fan. So, you know, if I pick up the phone and ask for something, 9 times out of 10, I get it with no issues at all. So, you know, I may do a collateral move. Gonna see, you know. The fact that we were blessed with so many males, and that seems to be what everybody's looking for, is a male. This is a repeat breeding, because I got a email about that. I did this same breeding 6 years ago. The reason why I'm not looking for a female is because I own a female off of this breeding that I did 6 years ago. I'll show her real quick before I come back. Queenie, come here, girl. This is Yellow Queen. She's off the first breeding that we did 6 years ago with Buck in Russia. This is why I've been chasing this. I had a belly mate brother. Long story short, we talked about it already. But I was already planning this move. But this is the female that I kept. This is the reason why we say belly mate brother, sister, full brother, sister. There's a difference, because this dog here is a full belly mate sister to the pups that I just showed you in the box. She is not a belly mate sister. That's the difference. Belly mate means they were off the same litter. I could repeat the breeding several times, but this is why things need to be said for a lot of people that was asking, why you always say belly mate? Because this is a repeat breeding, and yet again, she is a full brother and sister to those pups that I showed in the box, but they're not off the same litter. And that was, what, 6-7 years ago I did that breeding to produce her. She's not been bred yet. I am contemplating breeding her to Sniper. Let's get back to these right here. I am contemplating breeding her to Sniper in the future, probably beginning of next summer. I'm gonna see how bad the winter is. I got a lot of dogs that's up there in age that we need to get bred. They've proven themselves to be breeding quality. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. You know, God bless me. I've took a career. I had an opportunity career-wise, and I took it. You know, so my schedule is a little bit more lenient than what it used to be when I was just strictly doing the commercial heating in there. So I have a little bit more time. I'm no longer on call, thank God. That on call used to be horrible. But, you know, things are working out, so I have a little bit more time to do certain breedings. A lot of people have been paying attention to the channel. Have seen I've been doing a lot of critical breedings. You know, I have the time to do it. That was mainly my goal in life, because a lot of people see this property, house, cars, all this shit. It has to get paid for. So, you know, the main income has to become primary, you know. So I wasn't always able to do everything I wanted to do with the dogs the way I wanted to do it, because the real money was calling. But, you know, God bless me. So, you know, hopefully we'll see a lot more from Thompson'S Kennels as far as getting some of our productions on the ground with some of our older dogs that we really need. But as far as the update, that's that. What else I meant to ask? I had an email question. Let me answer this on this video as well. I thought it was a good question. Loyalty to a bloodline. And loyalty to a bloodline, I would say you're going to do, if you're truly into something, whatever strand of dogs you're running, you're talking 6 years. 6 years. Seems like a really long time, because it is. Because you're talking 3, if you're just starting from scratch and you're purchasing 2-3 dogs from a breeder, you're going to raise those dogs for 3 years, put them through all types of tests to see what they are about. Then you're going to have to breed them dogs. And after you breed them, you're talking additional 3 years on those offspring and going through those dogs and making sure they bring to the table the same things that you got from the first set of dogs. So, you know, I would say go into, when you're dealing with these dogs, have patience. Nothing about this shit is quick. Russia is 7-8 years old. I just showed a daughter that's damn 6 years old. It's a time thing, but you just want to be realistic about what you're doing and what you're trying to achieve. You know, I tell a lot of brothers, people get discouraged and scrap programs and scrap dogs like they just pieces of garbage, and it's really your fault. A lot of people are breeding for shit that they don't have. I never did a breeding trying to acquire traits that the dogs that are on my yard weren't representing. That's where you guys go horribly wrong with the young brothers that's emailing me shit. Y'all go horrifically crash out, burn because y'all are doing these breedings and expecting shit that you don't have in the first place. You do any breeding expecting to get some type of superior traits that these dogs haven't been representing, you're setting yourself up for failure. So this is why all of these conversations are had about raising your dogs, learning your dogs, watching the traits, seeing all of, paying attention to every little thing about these dogs, even when it comes to destructive behavior. All of these things need to be monitored because this is what you're putting together. And you're trying to up the probability of getting good dogs. And some people, unfortunately, they purchase piss poor dogs from Jump Street. And the money's invested in these dogs, so now you feel you have to do the breeding. So now you're shooting in the wind. You're pissing in the wind, shooting for the stars. You're hoping to get something good off of a piss poor animal. And that's not the way you want to breed. You should be thoroughly satisfied with the original dogs to begin with. Even if you do a breeding and process this in your brain, if I got the same exact dogs as the parents, which means they weren't better dogs, but they were equal to the parents, would I be satisfied? That should be the question that you ask yourself. If I got carbon copies of the parents, would I be truly satisfied with the dogs? And if you can't answer that as yes, you probably shouldn't do the breeding. What's up, baby girl? So, you know, as far as being loyal to a bloodline, I'm loyal because I love to see the good, but I'm waiting to see the bad. That's how you got to process this shit. I'll repeat that again. I love to see the good, but I'm waiting to see the bad. So once I see the bad, I know where it came from, how I got to this point, and then I can maneuver around it. You know, there's levels to this. You got some bad traits. You got some atrocious traits. It all depends on the animals and the traits and stuff that you're looking for. I talked to you guys about this before. You know, you need to know the bad in your blood, because what usually happens is people get on a run and they get some good stuff and it's 2 generations of good, and then they do a breeding and that third shit is bad, and then they just want to trash everything. No. Take that L, take the bad traits in that L, documentate it, and move forward. You know, no bloodline is perfect. As much as people want to pretend and tell you, oh, this is perfect and that's perfect. All of these animals, I try to be as blunt and honest about my dogs as humanly possible up here so people know. People know my balls bolio dogs can be extremely intense. They can get destructive. They are wild acting animals. But that's what I like. I like wild acting animals. Some dogs I have here on my property, other than the fact that they got 4 legs and fur on them, the way they act isn't reminiscent of a dog. It's a reminiscent of a wild animal. And that's what attracted me to this breed, and that's what I had success with. That's what I personally had success with, was wilder acting dogs. By meaning wilder, not just crazy, but just the way their demeanor is. They don't even chew when they eat their food. They will reluctantly sleep in a barrel. It would have to be extreme weather conditions for them to actually go in the doghouse. Other than that, they'll dig a hole and lay in the ground. They're very reminiscent, like I said, of wild animals. But that's the dogs that have worked for me. And the Balls Bolio dogs that I breed have a lot of those traits with them. But, you know, that's a preference. So, you know, yet again, take it for what it's worth and enjoy the journey with these dogs. As I say all the time, man, it's just a journey, man. It's going to be bumps in the roads, ups, downs, all that shit. The people who are successful are people who persevere. People who dust themselves off, get back on, and continue with the program. The program doesn't stop unless you stop it. So, I hope that was informative. I done kicked it with y'all for about 20 minutes. This was the update again. I'll pin my email in the comment section. Do not be offended if you don't get something off of this. There are a lot of people who've been emailing me about this, and like I said, I may use something off of this as collateral to add something to my yard that could probably carry this strand of dogs for another 5 years from me. I'm debating on it. You know, I'm still early in the game with it. But like I said, we do have a lot of breedings coming up. God willing, they take. Also, people were inquiring about why I did the breedings that I did. All of these may not take. They may not be successful. I don't control Mother Nature. I just assist in what's going on. So, you know, some of it may take, some of them may be unsuccessful. So I said, let me go ahead and do it. Due to the age of a lot of these dogs. Most of these breedings that I've done, none of these dogs are under 6 years of age. I'll repeat that again. A lot of these breedings that I've done, none of these dogs are under 6 years of age. I think the youngest one out of everybody is Black Orca. But the rest of these dogs are 10 years, 6, 7 years old. So I've gotten out of my comfort zone of just thinking, oh, I can do this when I'm ready to do this. It doesn't always work like that. You know, the accidents that we had and some of the dogs that we've lost this year, you know, kind of brought me back to reality that, you know, even though I try my best, I'm not controlling everything. So it's best to just hit the iron while it's hot. So that's what we ended up doing. But I hope all is well. Like I said, and yet again, I'm back up here. It took me a while to get back. Like I said, the teeth and all of this shit. But I'm glad to hear from everybody reaching out to me on the emails and the comment sections and stuff, you know. And like I said, I hope all is well yet again in YouTube land. And you was here kicking it with the Thompson man. And you're here with Russia and her pup, sired by Buck, young Buck. And I hope everyone has a good one. Stay blessed. And I'll be back with more videos soon.